Yo, didn't even know it went live. So,
the same thing applies to tension. You don't want to build tons of tension when you don't have compliance. So this is why you actually need to use your best judgment here, because it may not be like necessarily like a shit test. It might just be that you built too much tension too early, and it's just straight up uncomfortable. So use your best judgment here. Like paying close attention to like facial expressions, body language, everything, because you don't want to make anyone uncomfortable with this. How do you feel about that?
yo, so that was what he just said. Like, there's actually something that happened to me. I made a couple girls uncomfortable because I went too fast on the escalation. You got to get compliance. So I'm over here breathing at the window, watching UMP. I'm gonna go to the compliance part of the course.
I think you're pretty good at it.
It makes me nervous, don't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You're good at this.
Good at what?
With flirting.
What makes you think that?
What makes you think that?
I don't know, you're just like sitting here and you're like all like just chilling and
So I'm gonna get my wins early every day.
Drinking? This looks like red beer.
It's Desperados with tequila.
Can I see?
beer? Cold beer?
Yeah, can I try?
Get your wins early in the day, guys. Get your wins early in the day.
This?
Oh, maybe, I don't know, what's better?
I don't know. I love.
You love both. I'll taste this. Hey, what do you say? Na zdravie. Yeah. Actually, those. Did you want to sip? I put some roofies in it.
I put some roofies in it.
Tastes amazing.
You guys, I want to show you how crazy I go in the morning, alright? This is playing. I have this video playing, so it's going to my subconscious. Watch how fast I shower, okay? It's 3 minutes on the clock right now. 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
I think it looks kind of. Can you do me a favor? Can you actually massage my shoulder because it's hot from the drink?
Like, I don't think so. So, it's like, offensive. You owe me one.
Okay, so let's do this.
Yo.
Like, she's really strong, yeah. I love this shit. Can I see? What kind of stick I post? It would be nice to also be like a piece of pizza, but it's fine. I got normal.
It's actually
You know how to get there? How old are you? So fucking mean. So asking for fucking water. You get like curious question. If you get to, and don't say princess, like it has to be like a real fucking joke. Like this is what, okay. So be a fucking lawyer, don't worry about shit. Why are you being a lawyer?
Yeah, because you don't want like both things naturally.
Is that an excuse?
No, I actually want to learn.
You should just do what you want, like fuck it. If you want to do law, do law. Oh, okay, yeah.
I've been living at home.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, so you're kind of like almost the only child in a way. Got a good one.
1 minute and 45 sequence, guys. Listen to 2.
That's super early.
You got to get your wins early in the day, bro. I'm gonna approach 5 girls before 12.
Did you have problems at
Yo, what up, JL? JL9. What up, bro? How you doing? So, you guys, what I'm doing is I'm playing this infield in the background, so it goes into my subconscious mind. Sometimes I look at it, sometimes I don't, but I'm listening to it, right? And then I drank my urine, I went to the bathroom, I did my breathing. I'm gonna do more breathing. Because as you can see, the urine makes me get all this shit out. And I gotta breathe to get it all out. Yeah, there was a lot of it right there. Alright, so as you guys can see, I moved pretty quick. Alright, I woke up at like 10, right? It's 10:44 right now, so I could be going a little bit quicker, but at the same time, I'm doing better than I did yesterday. So all I'm doing is I'm racing myself yesterday. You understand?
What's your best quality?
He's really brutally honest. Like, let's just tell me what's my best quality.
And what about your personality?
That's not a really nice person.
Why?
He's really like
So, do you mind telling me, like, who's the most interesting person you met in this?
Alright, I'm gonna read this to you guys. Do you think it's better to stick with discipline or going with the flow of life? It's both. You need a structure of your life, and then you need to let go when you're out taking action. The more a girl invests into the interactions, the more she cares about you. Investment is the time, effort, and cost put into the interaction. The longer the set goes, the more she does for you, and the attention she directs instead of her friends, the more she's invested, okay? Having a girl do favors for you will increase her investment and feeling for you more than if you were going to do something for her. The phenomenon is called the Ben Franklin effect. We use the 5 hoops. The 5 hoops are just basically each level requires a level of compliance. A smaller hoop, the smaller the compliance needed. Every girl complies. Lets us know the minimal level of compliance we have. If they don't comply, we realize we're not at that level yet. Alright. See, it's coming. Got that shit. The urine will make you cough up phlegm like crazy, especially if you were just sick. But that's good. Monetary hoops can be small as paying for chewing gum, as large as flight around the world. Buy a drink, buy a coffee, buy cigarettes, pay for rent, favors. Check what time it is, hold my beer, give me a sip of your drink, give me a napkin. Ask the bouncer what time it is, take a photo of me, get my friends, ask her and him for cigarettes, get me a lighter, introduce me to that cute girl over there. Hey, let's step over here. Come to the bar. Any form of isolation. Come home with me. Talking to you in front of her friends, leaving her friends to the bar, having a sexual discussion, making out in front of her friends. Verbal qualification. This is a good one. So what's so good about yourself? What's the most adventurous thing you've done? What's your name? Where are you from? What's your name? Where are you from? What's so good about you? What's your craziest high school memory? What's the most adventurous thing you've done? What did you want to do when you were a kid? What do you do for fun? What is something you're genuinely passionate about? What is your relationship like with your mom and your dad? What do you want to do in 5 years? What do you like about me? So these are all good questions to get her to qualify. Let me grab some water. So that's basically it. You just wanted to get her to invest more into the conversation. Get some compliance. The more compliance that she gives you, the more you can escalate. The more you can do that, right? So that's actually what I was missing the other day. I just need to go more into like regular convo before I try to fucking take it up a notch, basically. Will you ever film your game? I'm filming my game this Friday. No lie. I have somebody hidden mic, hidden camera, everything this Friday. We'll go back.
The most interesting person you met doing this kind of thing.
Here?
Yeah, like promoting.
Like promoting?
Yeah, you said you've been promoting for 8 years. If I understood you correctly, yeah.
When I go up to a girl, someone said to say, "What do you do?" And they all don't know what to say. And then no chemistry then there's no chemistry that gets built. No, you ask them this in between in the interaction when you just need to build something. Okay, in the video I just played, he was like, "What do you want to do?" And she was like, "I don't know." And then he's just like, "No, like when you were a kid, like what did you want to grow up to be? Like if you could be anything right now." He just keeps asking, and then when he answers in any kind of way, it doesn't matter if she doesn't know. All that matters is like she answers, because basically, if you follow UMP, they have a script to sexualize, but you want to make sure that she's investing into the conversation before you try to fucking sexualize. Because if you build tension, but there's no compliance and investment on her part, she gets uncomfortable. So yes, you don't want to just do that. We're just using the normal shit to make sure that the sexual shit is okay.
We challenge of
I just did this job like
the current
something
business, let's say,
for a free time.
that's what challenge, which is the good one.
And I never want to be a dancer.
Do you like it?
No, I can dance only for my at home.
Like this job must suck. Like I gotta be honest, like because meeting like old guys, it's very rare to find a strong independent woman. But like, what do you think makes you like strong and independent? I would love to hear. It's really interesting.
Share my first relationship and my previous boyfriend.
Yeah.
She really changed me. He really changed me.
For the better or for the worse?
The worst.
Oh, I'm sad to hear. Like it sucks. But here's the thing, like being vulnerable.
Okay.
Can you tell me, like, do you have any insecurities?
That was good.
Yeah. If you are a vulnerable person, you talk about your insecurities. So if you want, like, I can go first if it makes you feel.
He said, are you able to be vulnerable? Like, are you a vulnerable person? She said, yeah. And then he goes, what are your insecurities? And she doesn't want to talk about it. And then he goes, if you're a vulnerable person, you talk about your insecurities. I'll go first. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you want to balance. You want her to open up about her vulnerability. You want her to open up, and you want to open up about your vulnerability. So it builds trust. That raises the compliance level to a high level. Then you can sexualize, and she's gonna go with it. This is the Jedi mind tricks that you need to understand, or you won't get results.
I mean, you seem very trustable.
That's something good.
My biggest insecurity is that a lot of times I feel like an outsider, you know. I do.
Why?
I'm not really sure. Like, it's something that happened in school, but I can't really like identify what happened, you know. But it's something in school.
That's why.
I don't know. Like, anytime like I'm around people, and I feel like I'm not being included, I get like this massive pain in my body. I'm really being an outsider. What about you?
I told you. Maybe I'm a little strange. Maybe a little different than the girl.
I think so too. Like I actually feel like you're different. I do. But what do you think makes you different? Like, why do you think it is like that?
Because maybe it's not like because I see yes, I'm different. I think like this. No, because the other people, my friends, usually see the same. People are, oh God, Eddie, you are so fucking crazy. You are difficult. You are like a very strong person, and you had a lot of bad experience in your life, and it was changing you. And right now you are a little weird.
In my opinion, I think you seem very strong.
I'm strong. Like outside, not inside. Inside, I'm like a small girl.
I think you're stronger than you think you are. Because you were just able to tell me that not a lot of people could have done that. So that's strong by you.
I don't like boyfriend. That's like the craziest thing. I don't know,
So he said, what is the craziest thing? What is the craziest thing you've done in Melbourne so far? So you just want to get them to open up about things, their insecurities, the sexual things that they did. So you baby step it. This is the compliance ladder with the questions. You baby step the compliance by asking like normal questions, and you move into like vulnerable questions and sexual questions. And then you're there, now you can talk about sex. Now you can, you know what I'm saying? You can do this, you can escalate.
How is your talk on a scale of like 1 to what do you say? You're like halfway Beyonce. You're like halfway Beyonce, is that what you're saying? I just wonder. Do you actually go to the gym? Are you like the opposite of a guy where you go to the gym and just do like... Are you a dancer?
Well, I'm not a tall, skinny blonde, so I don't think you're a type.
Oh shit, this is never gonna work. We're just gonna have to be best friends.
I'm like a little curvy.
You're curvy? Turn around. Oh yeah, you're pretty.
I would say so. I would say so.
You gotta stop it. You gotta
So right there he said I like tall skinny blondes, and then she goes, I'm not a tall skinny blonde. He goes, oh shit, it's never gonna work out. And then she goes, I'm curvy. She starts qualifying herself, and then he goes, oh shit, you are? Wait, turn around. She turns around. She does a little spin here. I'll show you guys. She does a little spin.
never gonna work. We're just gonna have to be best friends.
We're just gonna have to be best friends.
You're curvy.
You're curvy.
Turn around. Oh yeah, you're pretty. You
I would say so. I would say
And then right here.
gotta stop it. You do horrible things in front of your...
He said, stop it, you're gonna make me do horrible things in front of your friends. So, and then now he's making it so she's escalating on him. Damn, I coughed up a lot of phlegm this morning. Damn. I don't have any shirts that are not wrinkled. So I'm gonna unwrinkle this. It's almost 11 right now. So, doing good. Unwrinkle this bitch right here. Play that.
Friends. Super good. Yeah, no, they wouldn't like
yeah, I mean, be nice. I mean,
Oh yeah. Have you ever stepped out of your comfort zone before?
Yeah,
What did you do?
I went to Barcelona to see
Wow.
a guy for the first time in person, and I never flew a plane.
Good on you.
Yeah,
That's impressive. Was it worth it?
yeah. At that point, yeah, but now, well, no,
You're glad you did it.
yeah, because he taught me a lot. He broke me, but he made me stronger.
I mean, like, you won't believe this.
Okay, stop. I feel like living next to the 5G really fucks me up. Every day I gotta fucking cure myself again. Alright, so that was the 5 hoops of compliance. That actually was really good for me to listen to right now, because that's exactly what I need to fucking, like, practice right now. I'm gonna play the first video that he talks about it. You guys, the other reason why I'm not really showing this is because it's a paid course and I don't want them to come on my channel and get really fucking mad. So, I just show bits and pieces.
Compliance and investment. So as I've mentioned before, compliance is really fundamental to everything that there is in game. It is the objective model we use to understand the girl's psychology and how she views us. And investment is a really big part of that. Because each time we get compliance, that is actually investment of her into us. And the more investment she has into us, the more she backwards rationalizes that as attraction. So, the more time she spends in set with you, the more time she's in front of you, the more favors she does for you, the more questions she answers, the more she gives to you, the more she will become attracted. And this is known as the Ben Franklin effect. So actually, what's important is to get her to do more for you. Oftentimes guys will think, oh, I really want this girl to like me, so I'm gonna buy her a drink. I'm gonna, open this door for her. I'm gonna tell people to get out of the way for her. I'm gonna X, Y, Z. But actually, if you really want that girl attracted to you, you need to find a way to get her to do more for you. And one way is to get her to jump through hoops, as we call it. So a hoop is essentially a request. It's a way of gauging compliance and also getting it. So one way might be just walking up and saying hi to a girl, right? That's essentially a hoop. We want to see whether she wants to start a conversation with us. We want to see if she's willing to answer our question. Another hoop might be, hey, can you hold my beer? Can you pay for my train ticket? So there's different types of hoops. There's monetary, there's favors, verbal qualification, and logistical. Now, I have an infill compilation of a bunch of different hoops, mainly favors, and I do use this as a way to know where you are at in the interaction. Because the more the girl likes you, attracted, invested in you, the more compliant she will be. So if I ask her, hey, can you hold my beer? And she says yes, I know I'm at a certain part of the interaction. If I say, hey, hold my hand, she holds my hand. I know.
Yo. Notice how every girl does this shit. Notice how every girl knows game, but you guys don't know game. Every girl makes you hold her fucking beer. Every girl tries to fucking see if you'll do this shit for her. And girls know this shit on a fucking deeper level. Girls study game.
If I say, hey, come outside with me, let's get some fresh air, she says yes, I know I'm on stage. If I say, hey, let's go back to my place, we'll grab some wine, and she says no, then I know I'm, again, at a certain point of that interaction. So you can kind of gauge where you're at. And that's a big advantage of using these compliant hoops. Now, the other part of that is every time she says yes, it takes you to the next stage, you build that investment. Now, when you look at compliance, we look at it like a ladder. So that's what I was basically explaining to you then, the different stages. And so you need to go up essentially one rung at a time. And what you need to be doing is gauging that interaction at the compliance threshold, at the level she's most likely to say yes to. So what that looks like in practice is if this girl is really horny for you, she's really attracted, and you're up to here at the ladder, you don't want to be asking for requests or favors down at this level. You don't want to be asking questions like, oh, so where are you from? What do you do? How old are you? If you're meant to be at this level. And vice versa, if you just start speaking to this girl, you don't want to ask her, hey, what is the craziest thing you've ever done? What is the happiest day you've ever experienced? You don't want to say, hey, come home with me, because you're not at that level. You're just going to get no. And once you get a no, it really creates this negative compliance momentum. She tends to put up a bit of a wall once she said no. So again, the whole theory behind it is slowly work your way up the ladder and keep going and staying in that compliance threshold. And the more experience you get with this, the more you will start to understand where you're at in that ladder. Because sometimes I might go just say hi to a girl, and I can tell she's very attracted, she's into me, she likes the confidence, and I can go a lot higher. Other girls I can tell I say hi to, they almost turn to their friend, they try to get away a little bit, and I know I need to build that up a little bit. I know I need to show who I am as a person before she can make that decision. So again, work your way out slowly up the ladder and know where the compliance is. There are certain compliance triggers that are going to make it easier for the girl to say yes to. Now, these are essentially shortcuts we use in our minds because we have to make so many decisions all the time throughout the entire day. And if we had to run through the possibilities of every single decision, we just don't have the capacity to do that. So what our brains have actually done is come up with a lot of shortcuts. And so, for example, pre-selection is a great one to use in the game. So if a girl sees you with a very attractive girl that's into you, her brain will just shortcut as, this must be an attractive guy. She doesn't have to go through all the process of figuring that out. There's like a shortcut there for her. And we use this in our daily lives. If we see a bunch of people crossing the street, we tend to just cross because we know it's going to as, this must be an attractive guy. Every single decision. We just don't have the capacity to do that. So what our brains have actually done is come up with a lot of shortcuts. And so, for example, pre-selection is a great one to use in game. So if a girl sees you with a very attractive girl that's into you, her brain will just shortcut as, this must be an attractive guy. She doesn't have to go through all the process of figuring that out. There's like a shortcut there for her. And we use this in our daily lives. If we see a bunch of people crossing the street, we tend to just cross because we know it's going to be safe. If we are buying a product and there's one that is very popular, almost sold out, and the other one obviously isn't at the same price, we just shortcut in our mind, let's go with the popular one, it's likely going to be better. So we can start using these shortcuts when it comes to interactions with women to really enable us to build that compliance momentum. So read them, check them out, and start implementing them. Alright guys, so I want to start talking about operant conditioning. So what this is it's basically a learning method where we make an association between a behavior and a consequence as a result of either punishment or reward. So this is used, in dog training, animal training. It's used as we grow up as children, and it's used without us realizing in all our interactions with everyone around us. And once you really understand the power of operant conditioning, you can have a real influence over the way people behave around you, and not only women, but everyone in your life. This is kind of the structure you can use to start really setting boundaries, setting the way that people treat you, and you can use this influence to your advantage to create better relationships with everyone you have around you. So all it comes down to is either giving a positive response or a negative response to certain behaviors. And that will influence whether that behavior reoccurs or doesn't occur again. So if we're thinking about interacting with women, what are some good behaviors that we want? Obviously, like anything that is compliance towards us, anything that shows us intent, attraction, losing attraction forward. Now, any negative behaviors would be things like non-compliance. She's turning away, she's not interested, she doesn't want to answer our questions. So whenever you get the positive response from a girl or compliance, or a behavior you want to see again, then you want to reinforce that. And there's two ways you can do this. There's positive reinforcement, which is adding something to the situation, and there's negative reinforcement that is taking something away. So if we look at positive reinforcement, that is something like giving validation, attention, approval. If you're in a group of girls and you're speaking to them, and one girl is answering your question, she's showing intent to you, maybe she's getting closer, I am going to reward that behavior. I am going to turn to her. I'm going to give her more attention. I'm going to ask her more questions. I might even begin to qualify her, show intent. These are all ways to encourage that behavior. And a negative reinforcement is taking away something negative from the situation, so she's likely to do that again. So let's use an example. Perhaps I'm ignoring her. Perhaps I've left her off to the side and I'm just talking to the other girls. And then she starts asking me questions. She starts getting closer. She wants to be involved. I'm going to remove that me ignoring her. So I know it's very similar to the last point, but I'm going to stop ignoring her. I'm going to take that away. Perhaps you had an open loop. You weren't telling her something that she really wanted to know. And she was creating this uncomfortable tension in her. She's like, tell me. Now, if she shows positive behaviors, maybe she says, please tell me, I'm open-minded. I'm Like I can be okay with hearing this. Maybe, as we spoke about in the last module, she comes to the bar with you. She isolates away from the friends. This would be a time to take away that negative stimulus and just tell her and close the loop. So there are some rough ways to positively reinforce behavior and to negatively reinforce it. But essentially, what you need to keep in your mind is whenever a girl is displaying good behaviors, whenever she's showing interest, you always need to be looking to reward that and encourage it. All right, so let's move on to punishing. Now, this is a terminology they use in the literature, but I don't like to use it when I'm describing game because a lot of guys misinterpret it. Because they think punish is like, hey, fuck you, blah, blah, and all, like, to an extreme example. And that's not what punishment is. Punishment is just a little bit of a strip of validation. So again, there's positive punishment and negative punishment. So one is adding something, one is removing it. So it's very similar to our last point, kind of in the reverse, where if they're displaying a behavior you don't like, you remove it. You can also frame her negatively. So perhaps you ask her, what is the craziest thing you've ever done? And she doesn't want to tell you. So now I frame her as like, oh yeah, look, if you're too shy, I get it, don't worry, it's completely shy. And she'll want to break out of that frame, and she won't want to be boxed into the idea of either being shy and experienced, not adventurous or attention seeking, whatever the frame is that you're setting that is a negative one, is a nice way to deal with behaviors that you don't like. You can also challenge her. So we went through this in attainability, but challenge it, oh my God, is she always like this? What are you doing? Why are you being weird for? That's a nice way to simply challenge the behavior. You can also disqualify, say, oh my God, we never get along. Seriously, like, you know, this would never work. You withdraw that intent from her. Now, the last point, what I want to go through is righteous anger. Now, this, you need a lot of calibration for this, and you need to be very socially aware to use this. So if you're just starting in a game, you're just starting these interactions with women, things like that, avoid the righteous anger. But sometimes it is necessary. Sometimes when a girl just crosses the boundary too far, then you can use what I call righteous anger. But you do it in a way where you're not actually emotionally invested and reactive. So what that means, if I sit back and the girl is incredibly racist, or she really hates on my friend for no reason, something that is just crossing the line, then I will not put up with it. I will look at her and be like, that is not on. Like, that is not what you say. That is completely rude. Go away, whatever it might be. But I say it in a way where I'm calm, I'm centered, and I'm responding to it, but I'm not reacting to it. So there's a very subtle difference. So you can use righteous anger to be like, hey, I'm not putting up with that. Done, finished. Is a good one to use when the girl goes too far. The issue is you need to be very careful not to be rewarding non-compliance. I mean, we see this in kids all the time, right? Like, there's a lot of parents that just reward non-compliance all the time. Whenever their kids are upset, angry, they scream, they give them the toy, they show them attention. And you can't do this with kids, you can't do this with women, you can't do this with your co-workers. Whenever you reward non-compliance, it will continue. Whenever you reward negative behaviors, it will continue. So there's that saying that people only treat you the way you let them treat you. So don't reward those negative behaviors. You need to be very careful of that. And remember that attention is validation. So if a girl is displaying a negative behavior and then you're just giving her all the attention, even if you're telling her that's not acceptable, it's not okay, blah, blah, you need to be careful because that attention is still rewarding that behavior. So keep that in mind. I think the best way, whenever someone is displaying things you don't like, is just to subtly remove that attention and apply it on someone else. And I have a lot of examples of this in group dynamics as an infield in opening, so you can check that out. Compliance looping. Now this kind of runs in the background in interaction on more of an emotional level. And it's less about what you say as opposed to the whole idea about rewarding and punishing certain behaviors through a cycle to increase compliance and move the interaction forward. So what it actually looks like in practical terms is you want to give validation to begin with. So something as simple as going up and saying hi, or you could say, oh my god, you seem so friendly. You get the validation, and then you want to ask for a hoop. You're going to ask a question. So, oh my god, you're so friendly. Where are you from? Now, they're going to answer Canada, America, Italy, whatever it might be. Now, you need to reward that investment and that compliance. And you want to keep it variable, almost like a lottery or a poker machine. You don't want to just respond the same way over and over. So sometimes you might be like, that's amazing, that's really cool. Other times you just stay standing in front of her and keep giving her attention. So after that reward, you then essentially want to strip the validation back. Now, when we say strip validation, you don't have to turn your back on her, tell her to go away, tell her like whatever it is. It doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to go back to the baseline. So you've given validation, you've then asked for a hoop, and you've rewarded. And now we go back to baseline. Simple as that. And we ask another hoop. So what this looks like is, oh my god, you seem so friendly. Where are you from? Italy. Oh, that's really cool. And then back to baseline. Whereabouts in Italy? And now she wants that validation again. She'll want that attention again. She'll want that increased positive emotions. So she's more likely to end. Now she wants that validation again. She'll want that is, oh my god, you seem so friendly. Where are you from? Italy. Oh, that's really cool. And then back to baseline. Whereabouts in Italy? And now she wants that validation again. She'll want that attention again. She'll want that increased positive emotions. So she's more likely to answer again. So it's the whole idea of rewarding, giving a hoop, bringing it back, and then giving another hoop, rewarding, bringing it back. And this creates like an up and down cycle, like almost like an emotional roller coaster. And there's actually a lot of theory behind this. They call it the seesaw effect. And you can do this on a much larger, grander scale. So think about like good cop, bad cop. Essentially what happens is whenever your mind flips between these processing emotions, these centers. So if you're in a very happy state, your mind is processing the world through that happy state. If you're suddenly taken into fear, it is a different emotional process. And that time that it takes to switch, we almost become a little bit mindless. And the research has actually shown that our processing level goes down dramatically. We're not able to do simple maths, we're not able to answer simple questions, and we tend to just say yes to things as we go. So you can use this as your advantage in this time to ask for more compliance. So as I said, think about good cop, bad cop. Bad cop comes in there, yells at the suspect, puts them in this fear state, and then they switch it up with someone that's much kinder, much nicer. They go into a happy state and they're more likely to comply. And you could even think about this yourself. If you've ever been scared or in a really high, tense emotional situation, and then you have that relief afterwards, you will almost comply to anything. If someone says, hold this phone, you just go hold it. If someone comes up and hugs you, you just hug them, right? And so you can use this to your advantage as well. And what I do a lot is I switch and flip those emotional states. Because not only is it exciting for the girl, not only is it a new experience, not only can she go through these range of emotions and have a fun, exciting time, but every time it switches, she'll be more likely to say yes. So for guys that have seen me game or the infield that you see, is sometimes I will go and say, oh my god, oh, you seem so pretty, you're amazing, oh my god, you're so cool. Boom, switch. So it's all this validation, all these fun emotions, and I'll go, hang on, you're not from wherever it might be, you're not American, are you? And suddenly they're like, oh, yeah, I am. They're going to comply. Oh my god, no way, strip validation. They're like, hell, what, why? I'm like, hang on, wait. Who are you here with? Now she's going to comply again. So you can see this is a much more emotionally stimulating conversation, and also one where she's going to participate.
That's dope. It's like, hey, what's up? You seem like a good vibe. Like, what is your name? Oh, wait, where are you from? Oh, fuck. Damn. Oh, that's okay. Okay.
Paint more in and have more investment in, which leads to obviously more attraction. So I know this can be a very confusing topic, and it's one that's hard to consciously bring into your interactions. So what I'd start by doing is just practice putting her in different emotional states. Practice putting her in a very happy, fun emotional state. Practice putting her in a very curious emotional state. Practice putting her in almost an annoyed emotional state. You can remove a little bit of attention. So practice going through these. Read through the section. It might make a little bit more sense on paper. And then obviously...
So what I do, guys, is like I'll go up and I'm like, excuse me, I'm Pierce Buzzline. I'm picking up a vibe from you. Where are you from? Oh. Wait, really? Interesting. Do you get along with people from around here? Like, I got all these emotions going on. They're like, what the fuck's going on? Anyways, I'm ready to go. This video was 40 minutes, so 40 minutes to get me fucking ready to go. And now I'm going to be out the door, and I'm going to approach 5 girls before 12. It's 11:17.